Let's see if I can flip the camera down. That'll be a no then. Oh joy, what's that? There we are. Okay, so not my usual setup. I am doing this on my phone. So hopefully this works. I've got cables in all sorts of places. I don't really want cables. Let me just see if I can turn the volume up to maximum. Yes. Okay, so the next question is, am I live on my channel? Have I had an alert? Yes. So let's see if I can find it. Eek! Find it. Eek! Right, I'm going to turn the volume down on my laptop. Eek! Right, I'm going to turn the volume down on my laptop. Eek! Right, I'm going to turn the volume... Oh, phew. Hello, Judith. It was interesting Saturday, I think. Morning, Sherry. Morning, Nora. Morning, Wendy. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Linda. Hello, Jane. So, strange setup because my laptop is in meltdown, which is probably just as well because then you can't see just how rough I'm looking today. However, morning, Karen from a dark New Hampshire. Hello, Margaret. Good evening. Hello, Leslie. So, I am going to be using Irresistible Blooms. This is the new online exclusive. So it's Irresistible Blooms and Hello Irresistible Designer Series paper. And I've got the loose frosted dots as well. Now, I should just mention here, there is a cable. So I'm going to try very hard to not knock the cable. What I don't know, I'm streaming with power coming in. And what I don't know is whether the power going out is more than the power going in. Hello, Karen. Let me grab my glasses because I can't see a thing. So now I can... Hello, Lorna. I can now see the screen. Can't really see this. But anyway, I thought I would do a quick flip through for those of you who didn't see my unboxing. And then I'm going to do some playing with this. So we've got... Let me talk about the colours first. Oh, could you please, someone, just let me know that you can hear me all right? Because I think you can, because I could hear it through my laptop. But if you could just tell me that you can hear me, that would be very helpful. So we have got Daffodil Delight, Flirty Flamingo, Lost Lagoon, a colour that I've not known. Karen can hear me, Sherry can hear me, Jane can hear me. Excellent. So Lost Lagoon, Petal Pink, Pretty Peacock, which I do still have. I've got one whole sheet of that, and the ink pad, and Soft Seafoam. So it's an interesting combination. Hello, Jan from 65 degrees in Florida. Thank you, Linda. Good. Thank you, Margaret. Glad that you can hear me in Australia as well. So clearly the sound is all right. So the patterns we have got, and I'm going to just flip them over as we go. So we've got a floral with a watercolour. I mean, basically, this is a lot of watercolour background. Thank you, Wendy. I love it. We've got a die that is very close to this. So I know it's floral, but it is also watercolour, is the way that I'm looking at this. Some of the dies will cut some of the images, which is always a bonus. Now, this is going to be available for customers. Hello, Kathy in Ontario. Very interesting colour choices. Says Wendy. Sounds to me, knowing you, sounds I'm really not quite sure about this. They are interesting colour choices. I think you're correct in that. So let's go back and have a look at... So these are the dies. I have to say, having a cable here is really challenging. Oh, thank you, Linda. Yes, thumbs up is always helpful. What state is this? You mean sweet, Jan? This is the new online exclusive Irresistible Blooms Sweet. So let's see, we've got the 2 leaves, which die cut the 2 leaves. You'd be worried if they die cut the 3. This is the 3, so that die cuts. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 standalone. Oh no, 7. So that die cuts the small leaves here. Previously retired. Oh, okay, is what you mean. Well, yes, but we are potentially getting a colour refresh. As demonstrators, I think we're going to hear about that on the 1st of March or sometime in March, but who knows. Hello, Judith. Judy, even. Catching me live for the first time in a long while. That's what you meant, Jan. Okay. So, die cuts the leaves. And, oops, that's the back of that pattern. So let's go backwards. No die cutting. That, I think, probably... Yep, so that we can die cut. And I'm assuming that that... Whoops, let's not throw that around. I'm assuming that that will die cut, which it will. So that's good. So we've got dies that will die cut patterns from the paper. Ooh, and obviously there's a magnet on the base of my stand. Kay thinks this is a lovely bundle. I agree. I'm not a great no, that's wrong. I do like florals, but there are limits. I mean, we do have a lot of florals. But I do like this. So, I have been asked to talk about using scraps as well. So I thought I would make a couple of quick cards. Oh, let me show you these. A couple of quick cards and then see what scraps we've got. This is where I'm going to have to take my glasses off, or down at least. So we've got these frosted gems, dots. Now, I saw a comment on one of the Facebook groups that said, I hadn't realised they were going to be loose and not on a sheet. I think the clue's in the title. They are called loose gems or dots. Loose frosted dots. So I'm kind of thinking they would be loose. Oh, Kathy and Sherry don't live far apart. That's wonderful. So the dies also have this lovely swirl. I love a swirl. And this strip. So we'll be using some of that as well. They won't all, I think, go through the mini cut and emboss, but let's try. Ooh, and I've got some hints and tips on the mini cut and emboss. Because I gather that some people are having... Oh, it will fit. Having issues getting everything through. So what I need are those. So let me just grab some extra bits. So when you get your machine, whichever you get, whether you get the white one or whether you put the boho blue in your starter kit, they are all meant to be quite tight for the mini. Quite often smaller die cutting machines don't have the same pressure as larger machines, but this has been made particularly to have that pressure. What we have been told, and we were told this on a call last night for the leaders, is that you want to be thinking about an E. So a capital E, where you have long top and bottom and short in the middle. Oh, you're an hour and a half apart from the battle of the traffic. Ooh. Well, but you've got relatives close by. So, yeah. So you want your bottom plate, your number 1, to be level with the top, number 2, and you want your middle number 2 to be sticking out the back a bit, and you go in that way. So it's going in narrow. You bought the Frosted Gems and Alphabet stamp set, but waiting until March to see what else is released. Makes sense, Leslie. I have to apologise for the camera doing any adjustments and wobbling a bit, because As I say, this isn't my normal setup. It's all a bit... So, some people still struggle. Now, what the suggestion is that you may want to use your number 3 plate instead of your number 1. The number 3 is slightly narrower, as in not as fat. So if you're struggling, take away your number 1 and use your number 3. So if you ever get to the point where your number 1 is struggling to go through, try your number 3 instead. And just be aware that the tension on the machine will change over time. Whether it gets looser or tighter, I don't know, but just be aware. But yeah, so if you have a problem with your number 1 not letting things go through, swap that for your number 3 and hopefully that will work. Fingers crossed. So I am going to grab some card. Surprisingly, haven't really prepped. I have relaunched my computer 4 times and still my normal streaming service is not working. So we want Daffodil's Delight, Flirty Flamingo, Lost Lagoon, haven't got that, Petal Pink, Pretty Peacock, Soft Sea Foam. I'm going to start with Daffodil Delight and Flirty Flamingo because I can. So let's have a look. Where have you gone? Daffodil Delight. Daffodil Delight. And Flirty Flamingo. Bloody Flamingo, because I think that's quite an interesting colour scheme. I should have put on my bifocals because I'm struggling with the screen this morning for some reason. I think it's because normally I see white letters on a black background, which is clearer for me. And today I'm seeing white on black on white. I'm hoping that that is a card base. Let's have a look. So I'm going to start with something quite simple and see where we go. So let's see if... Hello, Shaz, how are you? Hello, Lorraine from Southern Ontario. Hello, Daryl / Shani. Your order's due on Thursday. It's gorgeous, just saying. Right, so I can actually take a little bit off the edge of this to make it a proper card base width. And I mean a little bit. I've obviously been using it for strips or something. And we've got our team meeting tomorrow, which we do by Zoom. So if you're on my team, and a few of you are, you should have received your invitation. Well, you received your invitation in January, but you should have had a reminder last night, or yesterday rather. So I'm going to start with this one because I think that's a really nice place to start. Let's start at the very beginning and all that. And I want... Is that a... Oh, I love it when there are actually things that work. Right, so I'm going to cut this down to 3 3/4 by, and I'm going to take the bottom off, 5 1/2. Like that and that. So that's going to go on there and that's going to go on there. And, oops, I'm going to look at what we've got in the way of... So I'm going to use thank you. Now, those of you who shopped with me in January, I should be getting your thank you kits out this week, hopefully in the next day or two. And you may be seeing some of this in your thank you pack. Right, just want to scrap, so let's get rid of that. And... let's think, what colour shall I use? Hello, Ruth. Can't decide about the bundle. Oh, Ruth, did you see my Instagram post yesterday? Actually, it's Facebook as well, where I used your inspiration of ballet legs. But you should have had a tag, so I'm hoping you saw it. Right, I am going to go with Flirty Flamingo for my ink. So, block. Shaz has got the bundle arriving today. Love the dies. Sherry that says the dies are calling her. I think the dies are just lovely. So, let me ink up my thank you. And I am going to fussy cut it. So just using a little scrap in the corner here. Oh, Ruth, yes, I wish I had ballet legs as well. But I was just thinking of that wonderful flower with the legs coming out. The card you did with the flowers with the legs coming out, which you very kindly shared with us at the UK leaders meeting. So I went all flower fairy. I once, many years ago, I used to make costumes for musical theatre, and we did a production of Iolanthe, a Gilbert and Sullivan, and all the fairies were flower fairies. So I have quite a thing about flower fairies. So I used the thistle stamp to do a giant knapweed fairy, because the flower of the giant knapweed, it looks remarkably like a thistle. I would show you, but it's not in my room. Oops, did that a bit too tight, but never mind. For some reason I feel slightly stressed this morning. Can't think why. Might have something to do with my laptop playing up yet again. It's actually not my laptop, it's the software. I think I need to uninstall and reinstall it. But I was being popped and pummeled this morning at the chiropractor. I have been suffering with sciatica for many years and was told that it was because of the chemotherapy I had. And I've always just believed that. And then I heard everyone at the gym saying how wonderful the chiropractor was that works with the gym that I go to. So I thought, well, I'll give it a go. I've had some days without pain for the first time in years. I mean, it's not settled yet, and I know it's going to take time, and she has warned me that because it's potentially chemo damage, it may never be 100%, but if I could get some relief, that would be lovely. And I am already getting some relief, and she's also working on my arms because I get pain here. As those who were at the UK leaders meeting will know, partway through I suddenly went, ah! And it was my wrists giving me jip. But it comes on so quickly that it's really quite a surprise / shock. So I'll just finish fussy cutting this, and then I'll catch up with any comments. Right. Hello, Brenton. Oh, Sherry, I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. I mean, I've been going to the gym for 18 months, and the chiropractor, so the gym's upstairs, not sensible, because when you drop a weight, it makes quite a loud noise in the place below. So the gym is upstairs and the chiropractor is downstairs, and for some reason I just hadn't thought about going to the chiropractor. I think back in the day they had a not particularly great reputation, but things have improved immeasurably since then. So there was a reason why I turned that over, and it's just because of the way it was cut. Right, so this is going to go on here. I'm just wondering. Ooh, that works. No, it doesn't. I was looking at the wrong thing. No. No. I was just looking at ribbon to see if there was any ribbon that worked. So yes, those of you who are joining later, and that's fine, Just, you may notice that this is not my usual live stream setup. Let's just say it's been an interesting morning. And if you saw me on Instagram, you will understand that it's been interesting. But we're here. We're going to make the most of it, or make the best of it, or something along those lines. Right, so let's grab a liner. Because, you know, Liz has been hijacked again. So I'm going to trim a little bit off the edge of this. And actually use that way. So let's just go that wide. And that can go at the bottom of my liner. Oh, except actually that would have, no, it's a bit short. Of course it's short because that's smaller than the normal size. Used to have an amazing chiropractor in Montage. I feel better just sitting next to him. Yeah. It's quite a surprise to me. I wasn't I mean, she did say that I was going to hear cracks and pops, and oh boy. And it's a bit of a shock when it happens and you're not quite expecting it. But yeah, I can put up with it if the final thing is that it's worked. And so far it is helping. Right, okay, so that's going to go on the inside. I keep having to work around this cable that hopefully is keeping the battery of my phone charged while I'm doing this. I have no way of finding out. Oh gosh, there are 30 people watching. Whoa. Hello, 30 people. Right, bone folder. Lid. Over there. Right, so I'm going to pop this up onto dimensionals. No surprise there, methinks. I'll use a couple of little ones as well. Those are black, so I won't use those. Oh, there are some little ones. Here are some little ones. Little ones on a little sheet, which means they came out of a kit. So the big thing that happened on Saturday, so for those of you who aren't aware, I was at our local Dunelm, which for those of you overseas, it's a kind of inexpensive home decor shop. And they have, some of them have cafes, which are only open until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Although the store is open during the week until 9. And they will let you have the coffee shop as a venue between any time between 5 and 9, and I'm thinking between 6 and 8, as a free venue. I am absolutely gobsmacked. So I'm going to be using it, hopefully. So I'm going to start putting out feelers for people who might want to come along to an in-person, I know, rash, me, in-person class. So I'm going to, I think I'm going to go Flirty Flamingo, and I'm using mini glue dots from Kits for this, because, let's see, that one I know is pink, because these are a nice size for the back of our loose gems. So it turns them into flat-backed adhesive gems. I'm wondering if it actually might be easier. Do those go? Yes, they do. To pop the sticky bit down, and then grab a gem and put it on top. So yes, I'm going to be looking at starting in-person classes, which I know is a real shock to everyone, not least of all me, because I just haven't been doing them. I mean, even before the pandemic, please turn over. Even before the pandemic, I wasn't really doing in person. I did a coffee and card, but that's about it. Now the very, very small dots won't, the mini glue dots will be too big, so I'm going to use some of our fine tip glue and see if I can grab a couple of those. Just need a teeny tiny weeny bit of glue, and then spend the next hour putting the needle back in. So yes, apparently Dunelm across the UK will allow you to use the cafe as a venue, free, gratis, and for nothing. So if any of you are looking for a free venue in the UK, there you go. For anything, book club, classes, obviously. Right, so there is my first card. I've just realised how dirty my grid paper is. So there's my first card. Now, I did say I was going to use scraps. So what I'm going to do is cut some layers out of some of the other patterns. In fact, I might go for the greens and show you what you could do with the bits left over. So let's have those two, and I really want 3. Ooh, I wonder. And I said I was going to go 1, 2. No, I think that will work. I think that will, unless I do, no, I'm going to do used to be indecisive and all that. Right, so hello Pam from Australia. I wish they would do some fairy pixie stamps. They did some time ago, and I don't think they were terribly popular, and that's always the problem. Right, I'm going to cut these as one, and they're all going to be cut at 3 1/4 inches wide. And these are my scraps, and that's what I'm going to be working on. These I will use for card fronts. So I'm going to go, I think I'm tempted to go, oh, I might go soft sea foam this time, because soft sea foam is sort of in each of those. So soft sea foam. Oh, I could go soft sea foam and Daffodil Delight, because I've got a card base there. So let's do soft sea foam and Daffodil Delight. Interesting colour combination, I accept. Not sure that's going to be the right size. Let's just check. No, too small. Too small. Even smaller. Even smaller still. Right, so let's get out a bigger bit. Ironed. So this is going to be 5 5/8 by 3 7/8. So let's go 3 7/8. By 5 5/8. Yeah, the focus keeps popping in and out. I'm really not sure about that. I'll have to have a look at whether I can fix the focus at some point, just in case we have to go down this again. I don't know why I've put my trimmer away. Right, so 3 3/4, which is what this width is going to be for these, divided by 3 is surprisingly 1 1/4. So I'm going to make these slightly smaller than 1 1/4. I'm going to start by cutting them to length at 5 1/2. Let's make sure they are butted, which they are. And so 1 1/4 will give me the width, but I want slightly less than that. So I'm going to go 1 and 1 1/8. 1 1/8, which will leave me with, yeah, that should be right. So these are the ones that I've measured. These aren't. So this is where I keep my fingers firmly crossed. Saw my surgeon on third spinal operation, but he's not concerned. He's now concerned your heart is pumping properly, as I have very swollen legs. Ooh. So seeing a cardiologist on Friday, having another MRI on Thursday. Fingers crossed, Leslie. That sounds challenging, I think is the word I'm looking for. Right, so let's see if this works. So that one there, that one there, and that one. Yeah, it sort of does. A little wider than I was intending, but that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to do the two sides and then the middle, because the middle can make up for any little shortfall. So two sides. Where I want to go? Nope. And the middle is last. Now it's a little wider than I really wanted it, but hey, maths on the fly is interesting. So I'm going to grab this die and come on, from Soft Sea Foam, which is going to be the colour of the base, I'm going to die cut. There's a scrap that's the right sort of size. Well, that'll do. That'll do. And this is going to go across. Snips. So I was just reading the comments, which, yeah, I'm hoping that everything sorts itself out for you. Okay, so I'm going to try just to see what happens. And for my machine, it may not work, because my machine actually is working quite well with the standard plates, but I'm going to try the number 3 plate instead of the number 1. Just to see what happens. And it may not work. There may not be enough pressure. So let's just see what happens. And I think it doesn't work for me, but let's go 1, 2. Oh, no, it's going in. You could use double-sided adhesive on the die, absolutely, and had I thought about it, I possibly would have done, but I didn't. My brain is really not functioning totally normally today, but it's die cut beautifully using the number 3 plate. Who would have thought? So there we go. If you've got any problems with your dies and the number 1 plate, try the number 3 plate. And you never know what might happen. So let's get the bits out that we want. So yes, I think double-sided adhesive possibly would have been Leslie's saying she's had enough. I'm not surprised, Leslie. It does seem to be rather one thing after the other for you, you poor thing. Right. So I think the trick with this now is that there are these lovely blobby bits, and that's where I'm going to put adhesive. But otherwise, double-sided adhesive might have been a trick. Although it's almost so fine that it might not have been. Sometimes if it's a very fine dye, it can actually cause more problems than it resolves. So this is going to go across here, and I think probably have a sentiment on top. So, and I will trim it to size once I've got it on. So I'm going to start from here and just blob some glue where I think it's going to be needed. So the main bits that would cause me concern are the ends rather than the bits in the middle, because the bits in the middle will do what they're told to a degree. So let's see, we're starting there, so we're finishing sort of here. Let's come off a wee bit just so that I know I've caught everything. Right, so I'm aiming at there. Sorry, I know where there is because I can see there. That's where I'm aiming. Let's press that down. Leave it for a moment. Sherry likes the dye. Yeah, it's pretty special. And of course there's a circular one that is not dissimilar. Of course I'm using the wrong snips. I should be using my sticky snips. Because I do try to have one pair for non-sticky stuff and one pair for sticky stuff, but never mind. Right, okay. So let's pop all of that on the card. And just for a change, I think I'm going to put the layer up. And then when I do the sentiment, that will be flat. So, black, white. My doctor said I have sciatica, but turned out you had a cyst in between your discs. Eee! Couldn't sit for more. Ugh. Yeah, no, mine has been checked, and it is sadly, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, it is sciatica. I went to a nerve specialist at our local hospital some years ago, and they say it's definitely nerve rather than anything else. Other than it could be because, well, it's the nerve being pressed by something. But it's certainly not something that shouldn't be there, if you see what I mean. So other than I would make those strips slightly wider, these strips slightly wider, that is a way of using up your scraps. Not least of all because when you've got 6x6 paper, you kind of tend to end up with scraps. Right, I'm now going to make this a more expensive card, and I do know I've got to do a sentiment still, but here's the thing. I just can't resist because we've got blobs. So I'm going to use some of these blobs, not all of them, some of them. I might draw the line at teeny weeny ones. So I'm just popping mini glue dots from kits. So these are quite a bit smaller than our standard mini glue dots. Just got to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need another one because by the time I've got things on there, I will notice I've got an even number. So, yep, definitely have an even number. So we'll go out there. And then I'm going to peel these off and then add some dots. I ordered 2 pots of these dots because I think they are delicious, if that's the thing you can say about an embellishment. Well, I just have, so you can. Right, okay, let's get rid of that piece. I really must find the cover for that. It's somewhere in this room. I went through my bins, so it's not in my bins. Right, I'm almost tempted to go yellow. Yeah, no, it's gonna go, yeah, I'm gonna go yellow. These are apparently Daffodil Delight, so let's go with Daffodil Delight. And these medium-sized ones, other way up, please. Come on. Yeah. So the 2 larger sizes work really well on this particular sheet of mini glue dots, and the littlest ones not so much. Like that one is the littlest one. But I am loving these. One more. One more. Oh no, 2 more. Can't count. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, that's all of them. Right. Judy says, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thank you, Judy. Right, okay, so let's grab that scrap of paper again, because yes, I probably will end up... Oh, actually, maybe not. Hooray, it's your day, I'm thinking. And I will go Daffodil Delight, as we seem to be embracing Daffodil Delight on this card. Oh, that'll be the stamp set falling off my desk. And that'll be me putting it back on again. Right, now the punch that I'm thinking I could use with that is currently doing service as a weight. So let me swap over. There we go, because I'm thinking that's about the right size, certainly by the time I've done some surgery on it. So I am going to do stamp surgery, or punch surgery rather. So punch it out. Go that way, couldn't I? Pull it back through. Make sure everything is lined up. Punch again. So we've got rid of that much of the punch. And then I'm going to grab my snips and get rid of a little bit more. So do remember, you can do surgery on your punched pieces. And that, I'm going to make it a really expensive card because I'm going to pop that up as well. didn't take it off. There, I think. Right, so hooray, it's your day. Now, the other thing that one can do, of course, thank you, Sherry, that's very kind of you. And for those of you who didn't see the first one, that's the first one. Now, the other thing you can do is to do the Scrappy strip technique. So let's do some of that. And let's see, what are the other colours we've got? Lost Lagoon I don't have. I'm thinking because I've only got one piece of peacock, so I'm a little bit loath to use that, but let's have a look and see whether soft succulent would work. And I think it might. Work calls, catch up next. Thank you, Jan. Yes, the DSP is stunning. So I'm thinking that soft sea foam will work. So I'm going to use a mat of soft sea foam, and then we'll put it on something else. Now, the way I like to do scrappy strips is to cut 2 bits of card. So, yes. Yes. So I'm going to cut one piece at 3 3/4 by 5.5. And then the other piece will be my normal first layer. So that'll be 3 7/8 by 5 5/8. Because I like to have a very crisp edge on my scrappy strip. So this is the bigger piece. This is the smaller piece. We may need some more bits of scrap, but let's have a go. So we've got this piece and these pieces. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut these at an angle. So this is the good old Bruno Bertucci scrappy strip technique. That would have been helpful if that had actually cut through. Let's see if I can make it as if it has. It's sort of gone halfway through. 3 layers is quite a challenge for it. Oops, flying paper. So let's cut this one as well, and I'm going to cut a few other bits too. Don't need many more, but a couple would be helpful. Scratch and sniff. Oh, Lorna, what a wonderful idea. I wish it was the scratch and sniff technique. So that one I will use. Got that, or something very similar. Let's have a piece of that. And then I think we've probably got enough. So these pieces, because I would use them on a card front, I know that if I just take a slither, that's slither off the edge, that I will have sufficient for my needs. My later needs, I should probably say. Right, okay. So I'm going to completely cover this piece because it's then going to go on to the other piece. So let's get this. And the key, I say key, the idea is that you leave a little snippet in between each piece. A snippet, read gap. So this I want right on the edge. Like that. And I do find liquid glue is easiest for this because you can slide it. And then contrast would be good. So you don't want all of the same colour next to itself, each other, whatever the word is. So I wouldn't want this just yet because we've got quite a bit of flirty flamingo down already. So let's grab a green piece or greener piece. So let's have some of this. Oops, sorry, just bashed the stand. Right, this is a really, really narrow piece, so no, I'm going to do that one. So I'm actually going to put the adhesive onto my card. Because otherwise it's going to be quite interesting trying to hold that up, I think. I don't want that side. So sorry for anyone who was expecting a simple stamping Saturday on Saturday. Life just ran away with me. And sometimes you need to just let it go. So I did. No, that's too close. That's better. Yep. And then we'll just have one on the end or edge. Just trim it all down and we will be pretty close to done with our third card. I want something with a bit of a definite, no, that's too close. So let's use this. So again, I'm going to put the glue onto the card because up this end it's very narrow. Right, so let's peel that up. This time I will use my sticky scissors. In fact, I'm going to use, oh, where have they gone? There they are. I'm going to use my non-stick scissors, which sadly are not from Stampin' Up. Had these for years. But they have a non-stick surface, so great for using with things that are sticky. And then just this last piece, so I'm going to pop the edge of the blade, the right hand edge of the blade, against the edge of this card. like that. Then these bits I can put away for another day. Clear the decks a wee bit. Then, oops, then, you're sticking to me. Then that goes on there. Although that probably needs a bit of a better trim. It's better. So, that way up even. Then I'm going to go for a contrast for the card base. So, let's have a look what's out already. I'm thinking I'm going to go Daffodil Delight because that will then pull out this little bit of daffodil. So that's going to go on there, that way up. Then we're going to have a sentiment and some more dots, and we will be done. So, sentiment. So that set would be useful, buried under things. I think I might just go hello. Hello. And again, I'm going to go Daffodil Delight to help pull that out, but then I'm going to go Pretty Peacock for my dots, assuming I can find some scrap paper. There we are. Should be big enough, yes. Daffodil Delight. Lorna's loving the cards and the sweet. Good. See you tomorrow, Lorna. Now, I would say that when you've got quite a lot going on your card front, so we've got lots and lots going on this, doing something a little calmer is a good idea. So again, I'm going to pull in my trusty stamp, punch even, and rather than fussy cutting, because in this instance, fussy cutting I think would cause too much fussiness. That doesn't sound ridiculous. So I'm just going to do the same technique I did before, but this time I'm going to leave everything in place. So I'm not going to trim the sides down. But if you put on too much of fussiness, then you are going to end up with a busy card. Let's go at the top, and then I thought I had dots out already, but never mind. I'll pull out more. No, I'm going to go there. And then just there, I think. Right, so as before, I'm going to peel these off and then stick some of our frosted dots on top. And then we will have 3 cards, including 2, using scraps. And as I say, 6 by 6 does generate, for me anyway, more scraps than using 12 by 12. So large, medium. These are gorgeous. Now I'll do medium there. So medium. Where's another medium? There's another medium. Medium. Right. Okay. Clear decks time. Lid. So we have scrappy strips. We have scraps, and we have full card. So there you go. Leslie's being tempted. It might cheer her up. It's gorgeous, Leslie. Seriously, it is really, really stunning. So let me see if I can. Thank you, Judy. So don't forget, a thumbs up is always appreciated. If you're watching on the replay and you've got any questions or comments, leave those below the description bar and I will get back to you. I'm up to date with my comments. Thank you, Nora. Nora, I'm going to post your thing today and I'm not going to worry about postage. I'm just going to post your thing. Love the 3rd card. Thank you, Jane. Yes, scrappy strips, even though I can't say it, is always a really, really good way to use up bits. So thank you very much for joining me today. I'm going to try uninstalling and reinstalling the software that I use for streaming and see if that works. Thank you, Helen. As I say, thumbs up is always appreciated. I'm going to see if I can I flip the camera around? I don't know that I'm going to risk it. But anyway, thank you very much indeed for watching. Leslie is going to order. Thank you, Shani. And I will see you again, hopefully back to normal on Thursday, and moreover on Instagram all the time. So have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all very soon. Bye for now.